This one's a lot of fun. It's our Lucky Pull card, and it's got a really cool interactive feature. As you pull the cash insert out of the bottom, the slot symbols actually change and reveal the message, "Dad, I love you." It's a great mix of fun and heartfelt, and we've included inserts for both Father's Day and birthdays, so you can use it however you like. Let's get started. Okay, so this one is actually pretty easy, despite the fact that it has that really cool mechanism built into it. So here is your card base, and let's just take care of some easy things just to make sure that our glue is flowing. Again, we did include a series of inserts. I've got this sort of casino slot machine, Art Nouveau sort of look. This one says, I bet on you and won big. Our kids won even bigger. Happy Father's Day, love. So, of course, we included a blank one, but this one, I'm just gonna glue this down, apply your glue, and then we do have a series of little markers inside of the card base to help you ensure that you get it in the right spot. You'll see them down here. So just line that up and pop that into place. Plenty of room for you to write your own little sentiment, and I love the black on the red. Very classy sort of look. There we go. Okay, this is gonna be our front. We're gonna kind of just lay this out flat for now as we apply the mechanism, but before we do that, okay, so we have these various sections here, and again, nothing overly difficult, just a little bit of paper piecing, almost like we're going back to the days of scrapbooking. So we're gonna find this piece here, and we can start off by just gluing down this little black piece down at the bottom. Go nice and easy with the glue. And this one's gonna be flush with the bottom. And you can see we've got that little notch cut out there so that the little mechanism is visible. And I just realized that I actually have this on the wrong side. That's okay. That's gonna dry anyway. We'll do that one more time. It's early, and I don't think the coffee's kicked in yet. There we go. Just like that. Use your fingers to kind of feel, make sure everything's good and flush. There we go. Okay, now you'll notice on this piece as well, there's a series of little markers here, and that's for this little element. And we're gonna take in my case, we've got a gold foil here. I'm gonna glue that down to the white piece. You wanna get that nice and centered so that we have a even border all the way around, like so. And I'm gonna flip this over and push from the other side so I don't blemish the gold foil. And then let's grab our little heart motif, our little panel here, apply some glue to that, and get that onto the gold foil part of it. Like so. If you're using gold foil, just be careful. It is a little slippery when you first put your cardstock on it. So maybe that's gonna go right here, but I'm gonna put that off to the side so I don't accidentally bump it and dislodge it from where it needs to be. Okay, next, we're gonna take this piece here. I've got another gold foil piece, and then this blue piece, we're gonna actually align this at the bottom so that a little bit of that gold foil remains up at the top. And just throw a little bit of glue, just little dots. Again, if you're using the gold foil, we're challenging you a little bit here. And just line that up, nice and flush, left and right and bottom, like so. I didn't want to make it overly complicated. I think over time we're learning here that, well, sometimes you want to spend some extra time on a card, other times you don't. Okay, so inside of these little cutouts, we have, in our case, some red glitter. This rectangular one is going to go right here. These are like little buttons on the machine. Okay, and then we should have 3 oval ones. So let's get those in place. Very simple. Just maintain a nice even border all the way around, all 3. Okay. I'm going to be testing your surgeon skills here with this one. I think it's big enough to where you don't really need your, what's it called? The pick-me-up tool, which I still occasionally use for smaller pieces. There we go. Okay, so there's that. And again, we're going to glue this entire piece down to the very top edge of this black section, like so. Make sure it's level. And let's press that in place. So we're kind of building the face of this thing, and then we're going to apply it to the entire card once we have the little mechanism installed as well. Okay, so there's that. And then you can see the little markers there. You just want to make sure you're not obstructing the little handle or the little cutout for your fingers. Make sure it's level. That looks great. All right, next, I'm going to take this gold foil piece here and glue it on top of this black piece. So take your time, make sure you cover most of it. It's a rather thin piece. And get some down the vertical lines or the vertical sections there. And this is just going to go right around the edge. Careful as you place it on your black cardstock to not smear it. And just try to center that as accurately as you can. That looks good. I'll flip it over. Push down from the other side again. Keep my fingerprints off of that gold foil. There we go. And then we'll take and apply glue to the back of this. Oops. Get out of there, glue. And this is going to go right over the little cutouts here. Just try to match that up as accurately as you can. There we go. I'll flip that around. Push down. Hopefully it didn't move too much. That looks good. Okay. There we go. All right, so this one here, got a few pieces, nothing crazy. I'm going to start with the white. The gold is going to go on top of the white. And you can see we've got a lot of little circles cut out here. I did cut this on my Juliet machine. My circles look amazing. I know that some of you have said that I never have problems cutting circles with my other machines. I want to say that my Silhouette machines have always cut circles pretty good. It was my Cricut that oftentimes gave me trouble, and not so much the larger ones, but more the smaller circles when you get into like the tiny little details. So it's hard to see this, you know, unless you have another machine where you can put it side by side. So maybe I need to do the test and actually show you guys what I mean. So I feel like some people are skeptical, but okay, so that's going to go on there like that. Okay, next we're going to grab this blue layer and just want to make sure that we try to match this up as accurately as we can. Okay, just match up all the little circles. You should see some of that white showing through, and then you'll have areas where there's nothing showing through, because ultimately it's going to be the red that will be showing through from the card base. Get a little bit of glue around the perimeter. I wouldn't worry so much about getting it in between all the little circles. I think you're just asking for trouble if you do that. And this should be plenty to hold it in place. Just line that up as accurately as you can. There we go. And I'm going to flip that over and give that a nice press. Okay, that worked out nicely. And then finally, you can tell this is a little warped. I'll flatten that out a bit. Finally, we've got the black layer. So same with this. The perimeter doesn't leave much room for glue, so maybe just kind of hit it in between the dots where we have a little more surface area. Okay, and again, just need to make sure we get the little circles lined up as accurately as possible, just like that. Okay, and here's where we get a little tedious with some little details. There's really no other way around it, unfortunately, but that's okay. Let's put together, or let's get the little glitter circles glued in. Okay, and we've got one for each little white area here. Just a single dot will do. When you place it in there, just make sure you maintain a nice even border all the way around. And then give that a press. I might just grab a dowel to really give that a good press without worrying about leaving fingerprints behind. Okay. Definitely pull out the glitters for this one. As you may or may not know, the slot machines can, well, they're very interactive and lively and colorful and blingy, I guess you could say. So definitely get out some flashy colors and papers for this one. Okay, and then we have the word jackpot. It's going to go on this black section as well as a little, one more little element there. But again, not a big deal. Super quick. And then the actual mechanism is a print then cut that you're going to, well, print and cut. And it kind of just gets sandwiched in between some of the elements. And you'll see how that all works in just a moment. I think it's brilliant. And again, the design, classic, yet relatively simple to put together. So it is, I guess, pun intended, a win-win. Well, I guess the odds on slot machines are kind of stacked against you, but all right. And the last one. Get that one in there. There we go. I think that looks pretty straight. All right. We have another gold element, and you can see right here in the center of that circle, that half circle, we're going to put the gold down first, and that is going to be flush with the bottom of this black piece. Make sure it's level. Pardon my head for a second there. And then one more glitter piece to go on top of that. Flush with the bottom, centered. That looks nice. Okay. And then finally, the word jackpot. And we do have markers throughout to help you with the placement of these letters. I would have loved to have cut this out with that layering, but we already have a bunch of layers going with this project, and I didn't want to layer it even more. So there's a little piecing involved here, but not a big deal. Just keep your fingers clean as you apply this, because it's going on black, which again is not very forgiving. And you also want to make sure as you're applying glue to these letters that you keep it relatively thin so that as you put it in place, it doesn't go squirt all over the place. Like so. And sometimes doing an overlay instead of one of those dimensional recessed cutouts gives things a little more dimension, which is always nice. Okay, just get it inside of those little markers. There we go. Oh no, I lost a P. I will have to locate that, but you get the idea. It's somewhere. I'm bound to lose a piece here and there. Isn't the first time, definitely will not be the last, I'm sure. Make sure that K is straight. That looks good. Where are you, Mr. P? I found him. He was on the ground. He was trying to run away, but I got him. Okay, there's our P. You get the idea. So that's that. A couple more here, and then we can get into the bones of the mechanics of this thing. Super simple again. Nothing crazy. There we go. Yeah, that does look way better as an overlay. So anyway, I know that slot machines are not for everyone, but if you're watching this video, you're cool with them, and whoever you're giving this to obviously loves them. Hopefully you've heard some cool stories about them hitting some jackpots, and there's that. Okay, so this is going to go right on here, as you probably figured out. Look at that, that looks cool. And it's relatively simple. All right, so let's get our glue on this whole piece. Work a little bit of glue out on these scalloped areas. Make sure that those don't pull away. We do a little bit there. And this is where all the red color is going to pop out now. Make sure it's flush and level on the sides. That looks great. I dig it. Okay, let's put this down like so and give that a press. Okay. Next thing we need to do is grab these two pieces. Okay. I'm going to glue them right on top of each other. We did need to make this, kind of reinforce it with multiple layers. So there's quite a few. Well, there's not quite a few. There's 4, but that's okay. Needed to create kind of a cavity for the little slider mechanism to live inside, while ensuring that there wasn't too much friction so that it wouldn't get stuck. So let's get this lined up. And I got a little bit of glue on that handle part there, but that's okay because we've got some overlays going on that. Just do your best to line this up as accurately as you can and press that down. All right, now I've got 2 more layers actually that are going to go on top of this. So we can just do one at a time. That's fine. Maybe just lay this down flat. Since it's kind of skinny, it might be easier to keep it on your surface. Maybe not. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Okay, let's get this on top of this. Just line that up. I'm using the scallops as my initial sort of focal point for alignment, which makes sense. The rest of it will just naturally kind of fall into place. Okay, there's that. One more layer. Let's get that glued down. And then essentially what we're going to do is just take that little slider mechanism and pop it inside of this little cavity, I guess you can call it. It sounds very I don't know, that's what I'm looking for, corner-ish. I think maybe I'm longing for Halloween here a little bit. Summer just kicked off, it seems like. We finally had a nice smoking hot day yesterday, so maybe part of me kind of misses the coolness, the cool breeze, and just the fall-like weather. Okay, so we've got that. Next, what we're going to do is take this black piece, and that's going to go right here, like so. We've got to add the little handle, or little pulley. Okay, just pop that in, push it all the way up as far as it'll go, like so. Make sure it's aligned as accurately as possible. Next, we're going with the red glitter. And then we'll finish it off by doing my favorite thing in the world, and that is putting gold foil on glitter, which is always fun. Okay, just line that up as accurately as you can. That looks good. And then we've got one more piece here. One side of this is kind of round, and one side is kind of dipped or concave, I believe is the correct way to describe that. And that is going to go on top of the glitter, like so. Pardon my head. And you can see here how it really does not want to be friends with the glitter. So I'm going to kind of hold that down for a few extra seconds until it starts to set. Oh, see that? Sometimes it helps to actually add more glue than you normally would put on a piece like this. And then we do need to be patient. I can actually take this and maybe we'll just do that for a minute. Okay, so that said, while I'm kind of holding that down, letting it dry, here's the print and cut element, and then here is a backing for it. We want to make it 2 layers thick because this, depending on the weight of your paper, might kind of be a little too flimsy. So I'll leave that alone. So it's going to start here with the 7 diamond and the cherries. Then it's going to say Dad, and then I love you, which is super cool. Okay, are you going to stay for me? I hope so. All right, so let's take this, and you know, sometimes print and cuts may not be the most accurate. My advice is to make sure that the little cash part of it is flush with the bottom there, so that you don't see that, well, you don't see any discrepancy in size. I noticed that when I cut mine out, it wasn't an exact match, but it was pretty close. I think the top of it sticks out a little bit more than I would like it to, but for the most part, it's pretty dead on. I also did the print and cut with my Caesar machine. Okay, make sure it's aligned correctly. Flip that over, press it down. Okay, cool. All right, so here's where we're going to grab the card base. And now we're going to take this entire little frame that we created, and we're going to glue this down onto the face of the card. Okay, so you don't need to put any glue on the handle portion of it. Just focus on the main frame, scallops and everything here, like so. Okay, and we'll pop that right on there. Again, just using the scallops as my initial guide for placement and alignment. We can close it up. Make sure it's all nice and lined up, like so. Press that down. Okay, give that a few seconds, and then here's where the magic happens. We literally just pop this in here, and you can see it fits perfectly, just enough to where the little bit of cash is revealed. And after we put the front of it on, you just slide that out, and that's what changes the reels. Okay, so we just want to make sure here that we're not putting glue on anything except for this perimeter. So I would advise not to try to put glue on this and just focus on this section here, just so we don't accidentally glue the actual pull mechanism down. We want to just kind of keep the glue focused on this. And that's got to stay in there. Once we cover it up, there's no going back. Okay. And again, using the scallops as my guide. It's going to be a little bit of a thicker card, but that's okay. Slot machines are pretty heavy. Not that I've ever tried to lift one up, but you can imagine. See? It's so cool. All right, I think we got it. I dig it. That looks great. And the best part is that it actually stands up too. The first time we made this, the little dollars coming out of there. I know they're coins, they're supposed to be anyway, but whatever. Okay, so the card will stand up beautifully. And Dad, I love you. Super cool. Okay, and last but not least, as usual, we do have an envelope. Okay, and I've already got it pre-folded. What we're going to do is take the two side flaps, bring them in, and apply our glue here and here. And close that up. And then we have a nice little playing card motif for the flap. There are a series of little markers there at the top. Okay, so we can just build this out off of the envelope itself and then just get that applied once we have it together. So we'll take this white layer and glue it onto the red. You can see how small these details are. I had absolutely no problem cutting this out with my Juliet. There we go, press that down. Okay, and then we have a spade that we're going to put on here. And we have some dice as well. So kind of covering the full, not the full gamut, but pretty close to what you'd expect maybe in a casino. I know we have a slot machine box that's still quite popular. You see that thing floating around here and there. Okay, we'll put the black card on top of the red, press that down, and then a pair of fours. Throw a little glue on that. Just little dots. It's a pretty dainty little piece. And it's going to go right here. Get some glue on this. And pop that right into place using our little markers as a guide. And voila, there you go. So that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new Father's Day bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and about 47,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So hope you had a blast. Hope you hit the jackpot, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.